Hey, beautiful kingdom women. I'm glad you're here with me. Let us go into it. Okay, I'm genuinely glad to have you here with me today. Go ahead and drop your name and where you're joining from in the chat, because I'd love seeing, who's in the room, and I love to feel the connective energy. I'm just going to open up here. So if you're watching on the replay later, just type hashtag replay so that I can come back and say hi to you, but you are just as welcome here. So yeah, let me just see if I can hear and see us on Facebook. It shows that I'm live, and I just want to check the sound because last time we had an issue with our sound. Let me just hear if we are okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. So let's take a breath together for a moment, because tonight or today, we're talking about something that so many women feel quietly trapped by, even if we don't always say it out loud. And that is, how do I build consistent revenue without being glued to social media? So if you're here, I'm going to keep an eye out on the comments so I can reply to you if you're here with me. Right. So I want to name this thing gently. So if you've ever felt pressure to post when you're tired, if rest feels risky to you because your income feels tied to your visibility, if you've caught yourself thinking, if I don't show up today, will my business stall? I want you to know that you're not alone and you're not doing anything wrong. Most of us didn't start a business so that we could perform online every day. We didn't step into entrepreneurship to feel like our income depends on an algorithm, or that our energy level will depend on how we feel, and our income would be attached to that. So yet that is exactly where so many women find themselves today. So today isn't about learning how to post better, but it is about learning how to build revenue that works even when you step back. So the revenue that isn't rooted in only your content, but revenue that is supported, and revenue that doesn't command you to have constant output to survive. So if you're ready for income that doesn't depend on how often you post, and if you're craving consistency without the pressure, and if you want a business that can breathe when you do, I want you to drop the word consistent in the chat so I know, hey, I'm speaking to the right woman today. All right. So while we're all settling in, let's take a moment to really I'm just going to introduce myself, especially if this is your first time here. So my name is Yana de Toy, and at the heart of everything I do, I help faith-driven women to build businesses that actually support their lives and not consume them. I'm a best-selling author, an AI workforce specialist, and the founder of yanadetoy.com and esthermandate.com. And I've had the honor of coaching hundreds of women who are building real sustainable income without burning out or losing themselves in the process. But what really qualifies me to teach is today not my credentials, it is the journey. Because I've also built in seasons of business where my income was directly tied to my visibility. So if I posted, things moved, but if I didn't, things slowed down. And at first that felt normal, even successful, but over time it became exhausting. And I started to notice that rest came with anxiety for me, because I felt like anti-pants, and that silence felt risky to me. And I felt like my peace were traded for consistency. And that's when God showed me something that I want you to hear clearly today. Visibility is not provision. So social media is a tool, and it is a beautiful one. But it was never meant to be the foundation that our income stands on. Right. So I'm just going to tag everyone here. Lowers. See if I can say hashtag highlights. Let's see if that's working. Um, so when revenue depends on our presence, our peace is always fragile. And everything I teach now comes from this place, from faith before force, stewardship before striving, structure that supports our rest, that doesn't replace it. Because I don't believe that God asks us to perform for his provision. So if your heart is craving consistency but without the pressure, clarity without hustle, and also income that doesn't demand you to be on all the time, you're in the right room. All right. So let's talk about what is actually happening out there, because it's the moment where I want you to stop blaming yourself. Because the biggest gap I see in the online business space right now isn't talent, and it also isn't obedience, and it's definitely not effort, but it is the way that we have been taught to equate visibility with income. Somewhere along the way, the message became, if you want consistent revenue, you have to stay visible. Hi, Shanika. Thank you for being here with me. I appreciate you being here. Um, yeah, somewhere along the way, we said we want consistent revenue, and we thought, hey, we had to stay visible. And if we wanted stability, we thought we have to keep posting, because we felt that, if I disappear, then I'll be forgotten. And so women do exactly what they're taught. They show up tired. They post when they feel drained. They push their content even when the Holy Spirit is asking them to rest. And it does work for a while, but eventually something breaks. And your revenue starts to feel fragile, and your rest starts to feel risky, and your peace quietly leaves the building. And here's the piece that no one says out loud. A system that requires constant presence is not a stable system. Can you go for a week on holiday and come back and your business is growing? Or is your business built dependent on you? If our income disappears when we rest, the problem isn't our consistency, but it is the design of our business. So instead of being taught that, women internalize it. They think, I'm just not disciplined enough, or they think I just need to show up more, or other people can do it. Why can't I? And I want to say this clearly with so much compassion. We were never meant to build income on top of our nervous system. Social media was never designed to be our revenue foundation. It is a doorway, not the house. It is the visibility, not the sustainability. And when this doorway becomes the house, that's when everything starts feeling unstable. So, can I ask you something? And we spoke about it already. If you took a full week off from posting and your income slowed down or even stopped completely, just type the word honest in the chat. And I know I'm preaching to the choir. Same here. Okay. Thank you for your honesty. And let me tell you why this matters. Businesses that rely on constant posting don't just exhaust the body, they quietly exhaust their faith. Because we start to wonder, if I stop, will provision stop? And that's not the posture that God invites us into. Right. So here's the reframe that changes everything. Consistent revenue does not come from constant visibility, but it does come from clear pathways, a steady nurture system, and supported decisions. Posting only creates the attention for us, but our systems will carry trust. And trust not frequency, is what creates consistent income. I see, Shanika, you're tagging everyone. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Come on, tribe. Where are you? We're talking about how to build a business that can breathe and can rest and that can still provide. Okay? We're talking about how to beat the algorithm. Right. So, and once you understand all of this, you can really see the gap. And then you stop to show up more and you start asking better questions like, where does the interest go after someone sees me? So when people see you on social media, when you're creating a post, what happens after that? How do people actually decide to work with you when you're not present? Is there somewhere they can log into, where they can sign up to without you having to have a conversation with them? Can it happen automatically, where you can wake up to a notification of a payment and someone enrolled in one of your services or products? What holds revenue steady when you step back? Yeah. Shanika says hashtag armor bearer, and she's definitely my fellow armor bearer. So when I speak to my clients, I speak to them as fellow armor bearers, and I'm a fellow armor bearer for them. They're a fellow armor bearer for us because we're an army. God asked me to raise an army of women. So we need to lock arms together and support each other in our work because that's kingdom, that's koinonia, that is ecclesia. So let's talk about the consistent revenue framework today. How to build income that doesn't depend on daily posting. Okay, we've named the gap and we want to talk about the solution right now because this is where things start to feel possible again. I want to give you a framework that you can come back to anytime that you feel pressure creeping in around your visibility or your income. And this is what I call the consistent revenue framework. And its purpose is very simple. It is to help you build income that is supported by structure, not sustained by stress. And we have a few pillars that we're going to do. Pillar number 1 is traffic is not the business. Traffic is not the business. And this is the first mindset shift that changes everything. Social media is a doorway. It is not the house. Its job is to introduce people to you, not to carry your income. So if you're relying on social media to bring your income, then you will be poor. Okay. If you're asking content to explain everything, to sell everything, to convince everyone, it will eventually exhaust you. And I know I talk about in the Unstoppable Faithpreneur Tribe membership, we have the Shepherd Sales System, and the Shepherd Sales System is a sales system. So it is content that converts. So it's a sales engine. But if you only have content as a sales engine, then you have, there's so many more layers that you can add to that. So content alone shouldn't be the only sales system in your business. Okay, because posting creates the attention, but we have to have pathways that create income. And that is why I have my Salary Expertise course that talks more about different sales systems that you can implement in your business and in your life that adds these layers. So if your website is a funnel, if your content is a funnel, and you've got other funnels installed that just think about it like a pond, and your fish are in the pond, and we are putting out different hooks for our people to join us. So we are putting different fishing poles in instead of just one. Okay. Posting creates attention, but the pathways create income. So if you've been asking content to do too much, drop the word doorway in the chat. Drop the word doorway in the chat. All right, let's move on to pillar number 2. Pillar number 2 says every post needs a destination. And I talk about it a lot with my clients. I say, what is the next step you want them to take? Because our people are like sheep, and we need to be the shepherd. We need to lead them, from, okay, I just met this person online. Okay, I'm reading something about her. Okay, what does she want me to do next? This is where our revenue will start stabilizing, because interest, so our social media posts without direction, just disappears. And the question is no longer, what should I post? After, if you're in the Shepherd Sales method, if you're learning the Shepherd Sales system alongside us in the Unstoppable Faithpreneur Tribe membership, you know what you should post. Okay, you've got your 10-week content calendar. You know exactly what to post. You've got your 1-year full content, calendar done and dusted. You just need to iterate. So the question is no longer what should I post, but it does become, where does this post lead? Where am I taking these people? And the destination might be an email list. It might be an audit that you're taking them through. It might be a booking page that you want them to fill in, or a clear offer that you want them to go to. So one post, one direction, and when every piece of content points somewhere intentional, our income stops feeling random. Right. Now, pillar number 3 is that nurture builds trust while you rest. Nurture builds trust while you rest. Beautiful thing. The beautiful thing of having something like a podcast or a blog or a YouTube channel where someone can consume, let's say, 12 hours plus of your content while you are doing something different. You're taking your kids to the fair, you're doing your hair, you're spending time with your husband, and this person is watching your YouTube channel, or they're listening to your podcast on the radio, or they are reading your blog or your book for that matter. So they are building relationship with you and trust with you while you're not even there. And this is where the beauty comes in. So this is where peace really enters. You were never meant to hold all the relationship building yourself. Nurture systems exist so people can learn, trust can grow, and decisions can form without you even being present. So when your nurture sequences are in place, you stop starting over every single week. And it's like we're not getting our people the dopamine hit that they want, because we're now starting a post and then doing nothing, starting a post, then doing nothing. It's like revving the engine, but never going to any destination. People get tired of it, and then they just start numbing you out. They just start scrolling by, because there's no point in following you. But when we attract them with our social media presence, and we take them to the nurture content, let's say an email list or the blog or the vlog or what we want to do, so people can build that trust, build that nurture. One of my mentors had 400 episodes in her podcast, and I listened to every single one of them. I went back a few years and I listened to every one of them because I was such a super fan of hers at the time. Okay, I knew everything about her. When she published something, I listened to it. So she didn't know me at all, but I felt like she was one of my besties. She knew, I knew everything about her and her life and the business model and what she teaches and how she teaches it. So I felt like the moment I have the money, I'm going to enroll. And then you find someone in your inbox willing to pay you $20,000, and you've never met them before. And that's where we want to be. We want people to build trust with us while we are not even in the room. Okay. So when nurture is in place, we stop starting over every week, and the trust compounds quietly. So if the idea of your business working while you rest feels relieving, type the word rest. Okay. What does that sound, Shanika? I know we were talking about, what happens in seasons where you can't really go live. We want to go live, but you can't really go live. And I will always say to my clients, there's 2 ways of building this long form nurture, and it's either written or it's in the form of video. So if you can't do video, or if you don't feel comfortable with doing video, video is always the best, because the best way to build trust is to meet someone in person. The next best way is to make live video. This after that comes recorded video, and then after that written. But if you can't, then you're writing a blog, you're writing a newsletter. And recently I found Substack to be amazing. I just started my Substack newsletter. I think I've published 5 weeks, 4 weeks or 5 weeks now. So if you want to follow me on Substack, let me just get you that Substack link and see if I can post it in the comments for you guys. Copy. Let me see if I can do that. And I would love for you to follow me on Substack. And what is so cool about Substack is that, let's just see if I can find, where is the place where I can post comments? Okay, here it is. Okay, I'm going to paste it in there. The awesome thing about Substack is if you follow someone, their newsletter automatically, their posts become the newsletter that is posted automatically to your email list. So if you open a Substack and you post a long form post, let's say once a week, it automatically goes into your followers' inbox as a newsletter. And that's what I'm doing. I'm posting once a week, and my Substack newsletter is all about AI and machine learning. It is about leadership and change management, and it's also about marketing and sales, and all from a faith-based lens. So I'm exploring the ideas of, hey, we are moving into the future, and now we need to know what we're doing, and we need to know how to navigate this tech that's coming for us, because for us, just putting our heads in the sands and trying to pretend that it's not happening, or refusing to participate in this age of AI is not going to do us any good. And I see Andrea is live here with us. Andrea, our thoughts and prayers are with you for a complete recovery in Jesus' name. So glad to have you here with us. I'm just typing Yona, the toy news letter Substack.com. And the nice thing about Substack is it's completely free to join. It doesn't cost you any money. And you can also, if your country supports Stripe, you can also monetize your Substack by asking a monthly or a yearly subscription fee. And Substack does all the things, and it just pays you. It already, subtracts their part, and it just pays you what it owes you. So that's amazing. Okay. So let's carry on to pillar number 4. Pillar number 4 is one clear offer beats many options. So for those of you that's just tuning in, I'm just going to say that we are talking about a subject that we've been talking about for a long time, Andrea, consistent revenue without constant posting, how to get paid without living on social media. Okay, so the 4th pillar, again, is one clear offer beats many options. So consistency doesn't come from variety. It comes from clarity. One clear offer with one clear outcome and one clear next step will always outperform 5 half-explained options. When people know exactly how to work with you, they don't hesitate as much. And when you know what you're leading with, your energy settles. So I heard this analogy that talks about, if you come to a fair and there's this lady with all these beautiful jams that she's making, but there's like 30 different varieties, and you're standing there at the table and you're looking at this one, fig jam, oh, apricot jam, oh, mulberry, ooh, and you're looking at all these flavors, and you have a bit of an overwhelm because you don't know which one you want, and then you end up not buying anything. While if there's only 3 types of jams, it's easy. Hey, I love the strawberry jam, I'm getting that. And that's the same with our offers. If we have too many offers, people get overwhelmed, people don't know what to do. So it's also good for us when we have offers to have a clear value ladder. So in my business, you start with the Unstoppable Faithpreneur Tribe weekly, Unstoppable Faithpreneur Tribe membership. So that's a $47 a month cancel anytime membership. And we do the content creation and we do personal development in there. And then that moves into Attraction Amplified plus AI, where you can now start learning about building a tribe, attracting, because that's the first step in sales and in business is attracting the tribe. And then later we're going to nurture and sell them. So Attraction Amplified is all about that. And then Sell Your Expertise goes into the actual nurture and sales part of it. So attract, nurture, sell. And we also touch on client fulfillment. And then we have Esther Mandate, which is more of the spiritual part of entrepreneurship, and it's all about leadership and leaving a legacy. And then for the entrepreneurs that is already, you already have a team, you're maybe having income from 5 to 50K, and you want to streamline your operations. You're tired of the chaos. You want to streamline your operations. I have an operations advisory packet available as well. So you can clearly see it is an ascension ladder. You start here, and when you've mastered this level, you graduate upwards, and you graduate upwards. One clear offer with one clear outcome, one clear next step will always outperform 5 half-explained options. When people know exactly how to work with you, they will not hesitate that much. Oh, thank you. Pin to bottom so people can see. Okay, let me see if I can do that, Shanika. Let me see if I can do this. Pin this comment. Okay, I've done that. Thank you so much. Shanika, you're helping me so much. Okay, right. So where were we now? Okay. And then lastly, pillar number 5. So we've got pillar number 1, traffic is not the business. Pillar number 2, every post needs a destination. Pillar number 3, nurture builds trust while you rest. Pillar number 4, one clear offer beats many options. And then the last pillar is automation is a boundary, not a replacement. So I want to say this gently because automation does get misunderstood. Automation isn't about removing humanity, but it is about removing pressure. It allows people to engage, to learn, and to decide without requiring you as a CEO to be constantly available. When income doesn't stop because you step back, that is where your peace will start returning. So all of this, the identity alignment, the clarity, the revenue pathways is exactly the kind of work we do inside the Unstoppable Faithpreneur Tribe monthly membership. It is where we stop separating faith from strategy and we start building businesses that move in rhythm and not rush. I want you to hear this before we move on. You don't need to post more. You don't need to be everywhere. You don't even need to perform for provision, but you do need structure that supports rest. And once that structure exists, that's where consistency can become natural. So I want us to slow down here for a moment because this is the part where I don't want this to stay conceptual. I want it to feel possible for you. I had a woman say to me once, Jonna, I think I just need to be more consistent on social media. And you know what? She wasn't lazy. She wasn't unfocused or exhausted. When I looked at her business, her income was entirely dependent on how often she showed up. So every break came with anxiety. And we didn't ask her to post more. We didn't change her personality. But we started building a clear pathway for her, one nurture system, one offer that she can lead with. And a few weeks later, she said something that stuck with me. She said to me, Jonna, I feel like my business isn't watching me anymore. And I think that is what consistency feels like. Just quiet, space, boundaries, time for rest. Okay. So if you've ever thought, if I stop posting, everything will fall apart, I want you to type honest in the chat. And I thank you for being honest, because that does take courage. Hey, Sarah, how are you? Sarah says, Happy New Year, Yana. I'm listening while at work. Blessings. Awesome, awesome. Great to have you here, friend. Okay. So if the idea of your business is still working when your rest feels relieving, type the word relief. Okay. So I want to say something that's really gentle. This shift doesn't happen because you suddenly stop posting. But it does happen because you stop relying on your posting to do all the work. So I'm not saying, hey, stop posting, stop following the ship sales method that I teach you guys. But I am saying, don't just rely on posting. Okay? We have to reposition our social media back into the proper role. Remember what we said. This is just the attraction piece. We still need to build the nurture piece. We still need to build the sales frameworks and the sales all the sales systems into your business. Okay. So I want you to hear this clearly. If your income currently depends on your presence on social media, it doesn't mean that you've done something wrong, but it does mean that you've outgrown the way your revenue is structured. And it's not failure, but it is a signal. So if you're ready to build income that doesn't require you to be on all the time, type the word ready in the chat, and let's talk about seller expertise, where we're building the sales systems. What I want you to take away from this session is very simple. You don't need more energy. You don't need better content. You don't need to try harder, but you do need structure that supports consistency. And that's what we're going to land with next. Yeah. I want to close this in a way that feels grounded and spacious, because we've talked about tonight or today, not just about a business shift, but about a trust shift. Okay. So if you felt a sense of relief during this training, or if something in you softened while we talked about income not depending on your presence, that is important. That is your spirit recognizing what alignment feels like. Because deep down, you already know, and I already know, you were never meant to perform for provision. Okay. And I want to say this before I invite you anywhere. You do not need to decide everything today. You do not need to fix everything today. And you definitely don't need to start posting more. But the next step is clarity, not effort. Okay, so that is why I created as a bonus for my students in the Unstoppable Faithpreneur Tribe membership, created the consistent revenue audit. So if you're already in the Unstoppable Faithpreneur Tribe membership, you can find that in the discussion tab. I'll post it in the discussion tab of the new course site. So if you don't know where that is and you're in the Unstoppable Faithpreneur Tribe membership, just send me a DM. Say, hey, Yana, I'm in UFT. I would like to access the audit. Then I will send you the link so that you can find that. Okay, and I'll post it and upload it by tomorrow so that you can have it. So this is a private practical diagnostic that shows you exactly where is your income currently coming from, where is it leaking, what is missing behind the scenes, what do you need to build so that your revenue doesn't depend on social media. It is not a quiz. It is not theory, but it's the kind of clarity that you'd normally only get in a private room. And that is the Unstoppable Faithpreneur Tribe membership. So if you want to see clearly and calmly what your next revenue step actually is, you can join the UFT membership by going to janadetoy.com. That is JANADUTOIT.com/UFT UFT. This is a $47 membership. You can cancel anytime. When you enroll there, you get access to the identity alignment stuff, and you get access to the Shepherd Sales Method. And we create the content together. We do all those things together. So, and you also get access to all of these trainings and the audits that we do weekly. So I'm looking forward to seeing you there. We are a beautiful group of women in there. Many of the people that is here, Shanika, Sarah, Andrea, we're all in that Unstoppable Faithpreneur Tribe membership. So come and join us. Let's do this together. You don't have to do it alone. $47 a month. Cancel anytime. All right. So here's what often happens next. Once women complete the audit, they realize something important, that they don't just need another tactic, they need integration. They need a place where faith and revenue are not separated, where our identity supports our visibility, and our income is built from order and not pressure. And that is exactly what the Unstoppable Faithpreneur Tribe membership is. It is not a content library. It is not a hustle container. It is a spirit-led growth ecosystem where identity number one is rebuilt through the Unspire Freak Personal Development Academy, where your clarity turns into momentum through the Shepherd Sales Circle, and your business grows in rhythm and not rush. So this is where consistent revenue stops being something that you chase and becomes something that you steward. Okay. So if after completing the audit, you feel a nudge to not walk this out alone, then use DM me and we start talking about the next steps in the value ladder, being, building your tribe through the Attraction Amplified plus AI, or through really installing the sales systems through Sell Your Expertise. Okay. No pressure, no urgency, just alignment. So if that's you, if you want to join the Unstoppable Faithpreneur Tribe, you can drop the word tribe in the chat and we will send you the link. Or you can also just go to, let me just put that in the thing as well, yonadetoy.com/UFT, and you can join us in the membership there. Right. So I want to leave this with you. God is not asking you to be louder to be provided for. He is not asking you to be everywhere. And he's not measuring your faith by posting frequency. But he is inviting you to wisdom, into biblical, heavenly, godly order, into systems that protect your peace, because you are allowed to build income that rests when you rest. Right. And I just want to quickly touch on the consistent revenue audit. So it is, I'm just going to say, it asks questions like, is your income built on something stable? How tied is your revenue to social media presence? And you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to, I think, 4. Yeah, you rate yourself on a scale of 1 to 4. Do people know how to work with you? And there's a few questions there. Does interest turn into income over time? There's a few questions there. Is your revenue built around clarity and not chaos? And then you rate yourself based on that. And then based on your score, it will tell you where you need to take your next steps. Okay, so for instance, if your revenue foundation scored the lowest, which is the section 1, for instance, your revenue is likely reactive instead of predictable. You're dependent on bursts of effort. You're emotionally tied to good or bad months, and this anxiety, pressure, and a sense that you're always starting again can build in your body. The root issue is you don't yet have a reliable revenue anchor, one offer or pathway that consistently converts without requiring reinvention every month. So the strategic solution that's in this audit is to build one stable revenue foundation before expanding anything else. And it goes into action steps, choosing a core offer, designing it for repeatability. I'm not going to read everything. I'm just reading the headings, anchoring your energy so that you know what to do. and how to go forward with this. So every section that it diagnoses, it also gives you the solution. It tells you step by step what you need to be taking action on. So if you want if you want this consistent revenue audit, join us over in the Unstoppable Faithpreneur Tribe membership. All right. Okay, ladies. So I hope that this session has been super helpful for you. I hope that the Lord blesses you and keeps you in the new year, and that we will see you in the tribe. We are looking forward to seeing you in the tribe. I don't want you to build alone. I don't want you to suffer and struggle the way I suffered and struggled in the beginning. I want you to join us. Okay. But anyways, ladies, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening deeply. Thank you so much, Shanika, for tagging everybody and making sure that the tribe is here with me. Thank you, Sarah and Andrea and Shanika, for being here with me live, and everyone that's going to catch the replay. Again, we are allowed to build income that rests when we rest. And I thank you for honoring the pace that God is setting for you in this new year. All right, my friends. Until we speak again next week, remember that we are starting with Esther Mandate again on Monday. So if you're not already in the Esther Mandate group, make sure you get in. So it's Esther Mandate. I think it's Legacy. Let me just get that. Esther Mandate Legacy Builders and Global Leaders group. So make sure you're in that group, because we will have live Zoom rooms every Monday, 6 p.m. Central African time, and I will post the Zoom links in the WhatsApp groups. So if you're not already in the WhatsApp notification groups for Esther Mandate or for the Unstoppable Faithpreneur Tribe membership, you can just send me a DM and I'll get you in. Obviously, with a membership, you need to be a member to be in there, but the Esther Mandate is a public group, so you are very welcome to join us there if you're a Christian female entrepreneur looking to establish your legacy, and called to lead in the marketplace. So Monday is Esther Mandate, and then classes will resume for my students on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then on Friday in the Unstoppable Faithpreneur Unstoppable Faithpreneur Tribe membership, we have the Inspire Freak Personal Development Academy, which is the identity work, the alignment work, and we also have the Unstoppable Faithpreneur Weekly. That's this class on my profile every Friday, 6 p.m. And then Saturday, I have my certificate in ministry graduation, so I won't be seeing you guys on Saturday for classes, but we will resume classes again next Saturday for the other classes that is due, the Cellular Expertise, the Attraction Amplified. All right, ladies, so that is all from me. I hope you have a prosperous weekend. Enjoy the weekend, and then a prosperous week this week coming. And again, just healing and peace, blessings and prosperity that I pray for you in this coming year. All right, my friends, I hope you have a beautiful day. I'm going to sign off. Bye-bye.